It's Laura again, and today we're going to talk about bullet journals. You guys are getting fancier ones than the ones that I have, or at least prettier ones. I have a plain black one this time. I put a pen loop on it. You can buy those as stickers, they're very nice. And I'm just going to walk you through a little bit how you do a bullet journal. You can use your bullet journal for anything. So I'm going to talk about how I use it for planning my day and planning my weeks. But you can use it for anything from an art journal, to write poetry, to write down how sick you are of having to wear a mask. You can do anything that you want with your bullet journal. I'm just showing you one way to do it, and a lot of other people on YouTube have already shown this. So if you don't like watching me do it, just search how to bullet journal up in the YouTube search bar and you'll find some really cool stuff. So here's my bullet journal. I got one this time accidentally that had an index built in, so it has lines. Indexing is nice because the index will let you find things that you write down in it later. Sometimes it's a little hard to find stuff. And mine also comes with a key right there. Your key doesn't have to look like this one. You can make your own symbols, so if you don't like marking things out like that, don't do it. The nice thing about bullet journaling is that you can really adapt it to what you want. So your index is what you start with. So it'll show like where your future log is. I'll show you what that is soon. Where you put like phone numbers, or where you put your calendar for the month. You can just keep track of stuff. And if you're working on a project, you can write that project down and what pages it's on. So this is what my future log looks like. Everything's going to be a little reversed because I'm not filming this in a mirror. So what I do for my future log is write down, say, the months, and then have numbers all the way to the last day of the month. And then in the little spaces I have, I write down what important events are happening on those days. So in September, I have my dad's birthday. I have what days I work Saturdays here at the library. I have when I put your craft kits out written down. And then that's pretty much all. If you have a doctor's appointment, or if you know a really important project is due and your teacher tells you a month ahead of time, you can write that in your future log months down the line. This is like looking at the year really quickly, so that if you know, for example, that you're going to go on a family vacation at the end of the year in December, you can use your future log to write that in on December, even though you don't have any December pages yet. Your December space is blank. So, future log. You have all this on your paperwork that I gave you. If you're annoyed listening to me, just use your paperwork. I have a page that is all the medicine that I take. You probably don't take as much medicine as me because you're young, so you don't need that. I have a page that is important phone numbers, which I'm not going to show you the numbers because you don't need to know them. Don't call me at home. Call me at the library. And then I have, like this one I started in July, I have something called a monthly spread. So a monthly spread just looks like a calendar page. You draw the boxes, so you'll need a ruler. I'll show you my equipment that I use for my bullet journal soon. And I like to mark out a little tab on the side to show me where I have these months written down. So when you draw this part, you're going to fill it in with information from here, your future log. So at the beginning of the year, you draw this. When it gets close to July, you'll draw July. Or when it gets close to October, you'll draw October. And then you take the info you have in these spaces and put them there. And that way you have a reference that you can flip back to and then add more detail, because you might write down vacation, and then on this page, you'll write down when your plane leaves, or when you leave in your car, and when you expect to get there, and maybe what hotel you're staying in if you go on vacation. I don't go on vacation. I stay home. That's what I do. So when you get to a week, you can make these really fancy. Or you can be like me and make them very basic. I'll show you the one that I just filled in. I like to have a lot of space for my weeks. It's just me. So here's what part of one of my weeks looks like. I have my weeks start on Monday because this is my work journal. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. And I obviously haven't finished this yet because this will be Saturday, and then I'll do a divider Sunday. So that's a good point for me to say. When you're setting things up, little ruler helps. I use this one because these little squares are the size of a square in my bullet journal. So it's kind of measuring it instead of by inches, by bullet journal squares. So I'll kind of show you how it lines up if you can even see it. We'll see if you can. Maybe you can. Ooh. See how that kind of fills the squares? Makes life easy. So I'm just going to quickly separate this now. I am not super fastidious about my central divider. If I know a lot more is going to go on a Sunday, which usually is true for me, I make the Saturday box a little bit smaller, but you can also count out your squares to make sure everything's even. That's what I do for the column width. I know in my bullet journal, the center is on the 13th square in. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to 13, draw my line. So then I'll label this with my days of the week. Ta-da! So that's my big month spread. I also have done in the past little ones. So I have them in the columns quartered so that it takes up less space. That's an option too. If you go on the internet and you search weekly spread for bullet journals, you will find all the things that people have done to make their stuff really cool. Now, the other thing about bullet journals, which I think is really nice, is that you don't have to have weekly spread and then the next page is a weekly spread and the next page is a weekly spread. You fill out the week when you start the week. So I filled out this July thing as I was starting July. And that means that when I turn the page here, I don't have another weekly spread. Instead, I have a reading list here of dark academia books because I thought that would be a fun genre to read a little bit out of. And then I have plans for my mom's birthday up here, which has already happened, so I can show those to you. So then I jump into another weekly spread. Other months, I have a lot of pages in between. Other weeks, I have a lot of pages in between. It just varies. When I was taking a Spanish class during the summer, I would have like 10 pages of Spanish notes and then the next week. So that's pretty much how you do a weekly spread. And when the week is done, you'll do a new one. And when you do your new one, we'll go to the key again. There's something called migrated tasks. Now, if you don't finish something in the week and you want to finish it next week, you're going to do a little migrated tasks mark over here next to a task. So when you do your thing or you don't do your thing, you can either X the thing out if it's complete or draw a mark to show that you need to copy it over into your next week. So for example, I have a book I haven't finished reading, so I can make a bullet on Monday of next week and say finish reading. Book. Ta-da! So fancy. But that's kind of the basics. If you get to the end of your bullet journal, you're going to want to migrate stuff over into a new bullet journal. It's just kind of how it works. And this is how you use it for planning. There are lots of ways to use it that aren't planning. And I also use a really minimalist look. There are people who do weekly spreads that are works of art, and I highly recommend that you look that up. But I am so minimalist. I have, besides my journal, I only have 4 other things I use to bullet journal. I have a roll of washi tape that I use to make tabs so that I can see where my month starts. That's the only way I use that washi tape. Other people use washi tape to mark out special events. Not me. I'm lazy. I have 1 roll and I use 1 roll. I have my ruler, which I already showed you, to mark out column widths. And that's pretty much all I use my ruler for. I have a pen, which you also saw. And then I have a mild liner or a fine liner. This is just the highlighter, but it's gray. And that is to denote things that I think are worth more attention. And this one has a wedge side and a fine point writing side. That's all you need to bullet journal. That in a journal, and you've got the journal. And you have instructions on how to do it if you want to do it the way that I do it. I wrote them all out for you and then photocopied them from my bullet journal. So you've got it. You've got how I journal already written down. And then you have the official guide on how to bullet journal from the bullet journal website, which I've copied out for you. And then you have some basic extra stuff that I used for a program ages ago that I just thought, might as well have more info, because it gives you some ideas on how to use your bullet journal when you aren't using it for planning. I would look on Pinterest, look on Google Images, look on Instagram, and just search for bullet journal or BUJO. That's the little hashtag shortening of it, and see what you can find that's fun, because there are a lot of really neat things, and not everybody is as minimalist as me. Some people use stickers. It's just really fun to see what people do. And if you have questions, throw me questions. I like questions. I will answer them. And if not, happy planning.